Hi everybody, welcome to day 19 of Raising My Vibration in 2018. So, I'm going to start doing I'm getting lots of feedback from you guys, and you guys are letting me know what's working for you and what some of your struggles might be. So I'm going to start to bring some more specific focus into what our daily lessons are going to be about. And so today, we are going to talk about addictions. So drug addictions, alcohol addictions. And I know that there's a lot of us that have struggled with this or are struggling with this currently. And it's obviously, I don't pretend to be a doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. But I, have, like I said, I say in my videos all the time, I signed up for, in this lifetime, the accelerated life lessons. So I've had numerous experiences. And so I'm going to give you my personal information about this, but I'm also, I work with a team of spirit guides and angels. And so when I think about what I'm going to do for my videos, I actually, go into a little bit of a meditation and have a conversation with them, and they kind of fill me with what I'm supposed to be talking about and kind of give me the direction of it. So it's kind of like channeling, right? I'm kind of Jody Jones steps out of the way for most of the part, and as soon as I do that, then all of the information just comes through as everybody's supposed to be receiving it. Okay, so drugs and addictions. This is a tough one, right? There's a lot of people out there, and I for years have been working in as a health professional and have worked with a lot of people who struggle with alcohol and drugs. Or addictions to pain medicines is a big one as well. That's a lovely thing that Western medicine has done for everybody, is given them something else to be addicted to. So here's my take on all of this. So first of all, we have to go back to the very beginning of things, and we have to remember, first of all, that this is not some random place that you've ended up. You're not in some random life, living some random story. This is all, go back to the beginning of what we are. So we are pure consciousness. And I hope you guys are starting to grasp this concept, because it's the biggest stepping point in anybody's journey of, on your soul journey, is to realize that you are pure consciousness. So what is pure consciousness? Pure consciousness is pure energy. And so it's energy with no form or shape or thought or emotion. We are just pure energy. So when we say that, it means that we have no beginning, we have no end. We are constantly changing, evolving, adapting. And so we are so much more than these human forms that we have chosen to incarnate into. And this is another thing that everybody needs to start understanding, is the choice. There's, we were given a package called free will when we incarnate into these human bodies. And so that means that with everything that we do, there's a choice that is involved. And yes, I'm a big believer that when your soul, particle of your soul decides to incarnate into this lifetime, and first of all, choose the parents that it chooses for the life lessons, for the experience of whatever that soul needs to work on. And sometimes we do choose, the harder, and I call them, I don't want to use the harder, because I want us to get out of the mindset of thinking that when we are going through some of these more difficult life lessons, that they are hard. I want us to start getting excited about them. And I know that's such a, totally backwards way of thinking, but it really is the truth about it. So if you are, and I call them the accelerated life lessons. So if you are somebody who was born into an not ideal life, I'm one of those souls. I come from a long line of alcoholism and drug addiction. My dad passed away when he was 24 years old. I struggled with addictions my whole life. I self-sabotaged with drugs and alcohol when I was younger. And so I definitely have firsthand experience on the whole, maybe not having the perfect ideal situation, or not coming from the perfect place, and not having the perfect parents, and not having, the stability that most people have. This is not to say that, there are people that come from, money and stability and still struggle with addiction. So it's not selective as to. But here's the thing, guys, is and I have been doing tons of life lessons, right? My whole life is life lesson after life lesson. And as I start to shift and evolve and change, my whole vibration as a being shifts and evolves and changes. And when I'm doing that, the life lessons that come into my experience change. So the life lessons, even though some of them are still, what I would call the accelerated ones, I'm able to get through them much quicker. I'm able to, I don't spend so much time wallowing in some of the lessons. I can get through them and come out the other side much quicker. And this happens when we do work on ourselves. So, my background is Métis, so it's French Canadian Indian, and we, everybody knows that there's, Métis people and Native people have had a lot of suffering and a lot of, tragedy in their ancestry, and there's a lot of alcoholism and a lot of drug abuse. And, there's been a lot of misinformation that has been programmed into us. First of all, believing that alcoholism or drug addiction is hereditary, and that it's passed down from our genes, from our ancestors to us. I don't believe this. I believe that the vibration is handed down to us for sure. Just like, if you're hanging around with a bunch of shitty people, you're going to, the likeliness of you becoming a shitty person is pretty high. That's the same thing. Just like if you're sitting in a hot tub full of water, your body temperature goes higher. It's what you were exposed to, will likely be what you become, what your vibration becomes. And so I think, if we look back on, the Native people and their suffering and their addiction problems, I think that the problem started when they started taking the power away from them. And this is what happens with us as well. We, there's a whole big, huge power struggle that happens, unfortunately, within Western medicine, and with healing and getting healthy and getting better. And the problem with it is that we tend to take on the idea that first of all, we are sick, and that we are at the mercy of the doctors and the healers and the psychiatrists and the all of that. What happens when we do that is we lose our power. So first of all, it puts us into victim mode, right? So that we think that, that we start to feel sorry for ourselves, because we take on the story of victim mode, thinking that all of this stuff is happening to us because we're being punished, or because we've again drawn the short straw in the game of life. And none of these things could be farthest from the truth. So I really want, our start, and I know, guys, and I don't expect this to get fixed in one video, but for anybody out there who is struggling with addictions right now, I really want you to start checking in with yourself, and, you really need to be turning up your bullshit meter. And I talk about this because, sometimes we can be the biggest bullshitters to ourselves. And especially people that are dealing with drugs or any kind of addictions will often have a very disconnected relationship with themselves, and then are not even aware of when their ego and their pain body is calling the shots and making the decisions and, leading them down the wrong path. So the very first step that we need to, if we're struggling with any kind of addiction, is to start to do the work on ourselves. Right? And so start to get to know, so asking the hard questions. We did this at the beginning of the thing. Who am I? Who am I, and what's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's through that inner dialogue, that inner work, that we will, we will find out. And what happens is, as soon as we start to ask these hard questions and start to shake things up a little bit, I talk about working with, your guides or your angels. We all have, beings that are in higher realms than the planet Earth, and they're there to help us. This is what they do. And so tapping into that energy, and whether it's through meditation, whether you start doing meditation and ask to receive things clearer or understand things clearer, they definitely will step up and help you with that. We really need to become aware, though, of our ego and our pain body. So again, some great teachers about that. Eckhart Tolle being probably one of the easiest teachers out there. Mooji is another one. And definitely, reading their books, watching their videos, following their stuff, but starting to recognize that everything that you're doing is a choice. Everything you are doing is a choice. And, you can tell yourself the same story over and over as many times as you want until, because you're obviously believing it. I can hear the yeah, but this is, no, it's your story. You are here and you are making choices. You have come here for such a huge reason. You are, a miraculous child of this universe, and you have to remember this. This is, you've come here for a purpose. Your soul is so much more than this, the human that you look at in the mirror that may be sick and unhealthy and unstable. You are so much more than that. And it's all about choosing what your story is going to be. Like, this is interesting. And I can remember a while ago, it kind of came across. I was, I get clients that come in and then we work on addiction stuff together. Through the traditional Chinese medicine. And I can remember sitting across from somebody, and they were talking about going to the AA meetings, and how, they've been recovering alcoholic for X amount of years, and that they go to the AA meetings and they find it helpful. And I remember sitting there and I remember listening to the story that the person was telling, and I knew immediately that this was not a good fit for him. This was not a, again, and this is what was coming to me, was that if I have a problem with alcohol, and I know that I have a problem with alcohol, first of all, I know that, you have to look at the big picture of what alcohol does to your body. So alcohol is a poison. Drugs are poison, right? When we take alcohol, the effects that we actually are feeling is that our body being slowly poisoned. And it's only because we have so many lower dense vibrations in our body that when we are slowly poisoning our body, there's something in your subconscious mind that is okay with that, because it's the whole disconnect of self, and the self-love and the self-worth is not there anymore. So I remember listening to him talk about this, and I remember thinking, if you are an alcoholic and you are now surrounding yourself with other alcoholics, which he was, thinking for support, and going to the meetings, where in the meetings they're telling each other their stories, they're talking about their problems, and going through all that. What happens, I go just strictly to a purely thinking about how energy works and knowing how energy works. The same thing. If I surround myself with my problem, what happens to my problem? It fuels my problem. If I am identifying with, I am an alcoholic or I am a drug addict, remember the two most powerful words, I am. What am I choosing? Is that my story? And if I am choosing to go to a meeting every week where this is what we are talking about, we're talking about I'm reliving my struggles and reliving my problems and going through all of that stuff, what's happening to the problem that I'm working on? I'm fueling it. I am writing the best story ever about being an addict. and then I own it. I attach myself to it. We talked about this, attaching ourselves to our feelings or emotions. So I really want you guys to become aware of what the story is that you're telling yourself, what the story is that you're writing for yourself. Are you identifying with being an addict? Is that a label that you've attached to yourself and now you've made it part of you? Because it's not. Remember, it's literally a page in your book. And the thing about when you're the creator of your own story and creating your own reality, writing your own story, is at any time you can rip out a page, crumple it up and throw it away and start again. And that's really, really what we have to keep in mind. This, I'm a big believer that things, we talk about miracles that happen, and things can shift instantly for people. You can instantly get that connection back with yourself. Get to know your pain body, your ego, and your soul, so that you understand who's doing the driving in the driver's seat, and you can make the shift whenever you need to. And this will be a huge part in anybody's recovery from, choosing the life of being an addict. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to do another video on this because they're telling me like so much more about this. So I think one of the things I'm going to post a Brad Yates video on here because I think tapping would be a great outlet for anybody who has any kind of addictions, because again, it's, the reason why somebody, first of all, is seeking out alcohol or drugs is because it doesn't feel good inside. There's something that's either lacking. They either have a lack of or they have an excess of. And so everybody, that individual chemistry set in everybody is going to be a little bit different. But I think that doing the initial, reconnecting with yourself again, remembering your soul purpose, finding some teachers out there that will inspire you to switch things around and know that you can change your story at any time. You can decide at any moment to change your story and rewrite it. I did, there's some time in my life when things started to change that, I had, a aha moment of, this isn't what I'm here for. I'm here for so much more. And I am so much more. And this comes, guys, it can happen instantly for you. It doesn't matter where you come from or where your background is or who your parents are or how horrible a life you've had and how many things you've had done wrong to you. Everything happens right now in the moment. Every moment is a brand new opportunity to start again, to rewrite your story. If your story is not going well for you, crumple up the paper and start all over again. Make a choice. The thing about what happens is the universe always responds to our energy in everything. So if you are, if you're calling yourself an addict, you're calling yourself an alcoholic, and you're doing that, that becomes your story. You're writing that story and you're feeding that energy ball. Just in the exact same way that, if you don't know who you are and you don't know what your purpose is, then you can just, start there. Start with, I don't know who I am and I don't know what my purpose is, but I know that it's so much more than what I'm doing now. And that's an absolutely perfect place to start. It's going to start with your self-love and your self-care and getting to know yourself. Forget about everybody else around you and all of the relationships, all the people that you've known. Start with yourself. Start where that relationship went wrong, where at some point along the line, you decided that you weren't good enough, or you weren't worthy enough, or, we get lost and we get caught in the human condition. But the really cool thing about it is that we can get ourselves out of that because we chose to get ourselves in it. We can choose to get ourselves out of it. Okay. I know this is huge, guys, and we're not going to solve the whole thing in one video, so we definitely will do some more. I would love your feedback on this, though. If there's anybody and you can private message me, if there's anybody out there who is struggling with any of this, This is a really big one because this is a life changer, right? This can take you from having a life of suffering to having a life of everything that you want. Opposite directions. That's what we want to do. Okay, so I want everybody just to close your eyes right now. I want everybody just to tune into your energy. So we're going to do this through our breathing. And make sure you guys are doing this. This is a really important, it's a, self-check throughout the day. So closing your eyes, bringing your awareness to your breathing, taking 3 slow, deep breaths in through our nose. And when we breathe through our nose, we are inhaling source energy, light, love, healing energy. And with our out breath, we are exhaling everything that no longer serves us. All of the dark parts of our story that we have picked up along the way and written for us, we are releasing it all now. We are letting it go. And we are reminding ourselves that we are so much more than these humans that we are sitting before, so much more than this physical body that we are sitting in. And so just bringing in my team of guides and angels to surround the group right now. Your teams of guides and angels are already around you guys. And we are sending a huge healing wave of light and love and balance and nurturing. I'm hearing there's lots of people that are needing nurturing. Remember, we can do this for ourselves, guys. We can self-nurture. Okay. Sending huge love to all you guys. Stay strong. Remember, you are not in this alone. We are raising our vibration together. Remember, sometimes we need to get through the ugly, dig through the ugly to get to the really, really good stuff. But it gets easier and easier with every breath we take. Okay? You guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.